so I study mathematics, very passionate about STEM. I think that's what actually connected us to one another. I'm co-founder of Acceleforce today, and also am ambassador for women's empowerment, something I'm very, very passionate about. Young women such as yourselves inspire me to become better. And now I'm based in New York City and absolutely love it. As I say, it's a huge honor, and I take it very, very seriously. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. My whole life, like, I was doing stuff on my own as a young woman in there, and it kind of always felt like a bit of a square peg in a round hole. And I was always investing in other women, whatever I could do to try and help, but I kind of never had a voice. Like, I was one person doing it alone. And then I was fortunate enough to come to the US, very privileged, and I did a TED Talk, and I was invited to apply to become a UN ambassador, and I was extremely lucky. I got chosen, and it literally has changed my whole life, because now I'm surrounded by incredible, inspiring women that just give me a reason to kind of do things better, be better, just keep contributing, and it's the most amazing community. And when people reach out and they say they want to share their stories and they want to be part of our community, there's nothing better in the whole world. And as I say, women's empowerment is so important, especially for me when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I love it. I absolutely love it when a young woman reaches out and she's like you guys, like, I'm doing this, and like, I love what I'm doing, and I'm making a difference in the world. And for me, there's nothing better. And I love helping them in any way that I can, helping them get ahead, helping them just build networks, helping them meet mentors. And as I say, it's given me a reason to keep living at a higher level. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, so this is something I'm hugely passionate about, and I want to have a shout out to your community of the incredible young women out there. I'd love to feature them on the fireside chats. Now let's talk about how they came about. So I was always working with entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs. As I say, in South Africa, there are a lot of big problems when it comes to women's empowerment, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to unemployment. So you become an angel investor, you become a venture capitalist, you become a philanthropist. All these things, not because you choose to become them, but more because they're problems and you're there and you're an entrepreneur and you like solving them. So when an entrepreneur reaches out and they say, hey, I'm short of money, can you help? You know there's no funding available. So you're like, you know what, I got some cash available, let me help you. Or I know some mentors that can help you, let me just connect you with them. And I was doing it for so long, it was like second nature. And as I say, like, that's probably why I've had so many startups and I've had a lot of businesses in there, because it's just something that I love so much. There's nothing better than spending time with entrepreneurs and inspired young women. It's just the most amazing feeling. And what happened when I did the TED Talk was that a lot of women kept reaching out to me, and often I was intimidated by these women. I must be honest, some of these women were like incredibly successful, and they'd say, please can we go for coffee, please can we go for coffee? I'm like, I can't go for coffee with you. I don't know anything. I can't help you. And they're like, no, but you shared our journey. You understand what we're going through. Please, can we just connect? And it was hard. I got to be honest with you, getting used to kind of people connecting and asking for help and asking for assistance. And it's been a journey of self-discovery. And in the process, I thought, you know what? There are so many incredible people doing such incredible stuff. And so many people saying, I want to be on this American journey with you. You guys know you're on the American journey too. And it was like, you know what? I got to somehow bring these people on this journey with me, but they can't all physically come. So how do you kind of help contribute to make things better, but at the same time do it on a scale where multiple people are benefiting from your ecosystem? And then I realized, you know what, this has been something I wanted to do for so long. Why not just take a risk? Why not just start and say to a few friends of mine, a few mentors of mine, I really believe in doing this. I need to do a UN project, and I want to do something that I'm truly passionate about. Let's just put it out there and see what happens. And as I say, like, the response from the community has been unbelievable. Like, every time that someone incredible reaches out, like young ladies like yourself, and they're like, you want to meet and you want to be panelists and you want to share your stories, like, I do a little dance here in the office. Like, the whole office knows that I get so excited, because it just means that more young women will be connecting with one another, will be helping one another, will just be making things better, because ultimately our ecosystem is as strong as we make it. And as I say, it's been absolutely inspiring. Like, Yesterday I had a call with this incredible entrepreneur, and he's had huge success, like really huge success. And now he's gone into the social entrepreneurship space, and he's helping social entrepreneurs around the world get their business models right. And he's just doing such incredible stuff. He's working with an organization in India that works with 1 million young entrepreneurs. And you're so inspired because someone like this is contributing to our community. He's sharing his knowledge, he's sharing his wisdom. We get to learn, and we wouldn't have those opportunities. And I feel so privileged. It's an honor, like it really is an honor, and I take it very seriously because I know it's not mine, it's our communities, it's by our community, for our community. And as I say, if you know other incredible young ladies such as yourselves, please come and call me and introduce yourselves because we want to hear your stories. I came from very, very humble beginnings, like very, very challenging circumstances, and there were mentors in my life at a very young age that I never realized the sacrifices they were making for me to have a better life. Like my next door neighbors were both Rhodes Scholars, and the lady happened to be absolutely brilliant at maths and physics. She came from Malta, and I never realized what it meant when a couple, and he traveled a lot, he was a very, very senior executive, and they met at Oxford, sacrificed their evenings so that they could help teach you maths. So every single night I used to go to my next door neighbor's house, and we used to sit, and she used to teach me maths. And I think they were worried about my future, because I never had a father, and things were very difficult because my father died and that. And for years there was these people in my life that kind of always looked out for me. And wherever I went, when I went to live in Canada, I had people looking out for my well-being. And it takes you going full circle for you to realize the sacrifices other people made to give you a fighting chance. And that was actually how my journey in South Africa started many years ago when I went back to South Africa after being in Canada. And I felt so privileged that Canada had given me so many opportunities. And I went back and I thought, you know what, I can get a big, fancy, glamorous job. There's no difficulty. Like anybody, they were offering me lots of jobs. And it just felt so wrong. Like it felt like for many people it was right. And everybody kept saying that they'll pay you tons of money and you can have a sports car and you can buy everything. Because in South Africa, there's a shortage of math skills. And I had a very good education from one of the top countries in the world for maths education. And it was just, I felt I needed to do something to help, to kind of say thank you to society. And that's when I started, my first job, funny enough, was at a high school in South Africa. The head of the maths department had cancer, and there were all these boys who had no maths teacher. And it's a very poor school. It used to be an extremely good school, and it just, there was no funding. And the principal came in and said, whatever you can do, whatever you can't do, you can't do. And that was one of the most important things I'd ever done in my entire life, because one of the boys was exceptional at soccer, and there was 6 weeks left, and they basically had a scholarship to come and play in the States. But if he never passed maths and all these subjects, there would be no scholarship. And this boy was sitting on like 27% for maths. And it was like, if he failed, his future was over. And I sat there with him. I had no car or transport. And one of the issues in South Africa is, transport, crime, women don't feel safe. There are a lot of economic issues. And I sat with these boys, and each one, there was a group of them, had a reason to kind of pass and actually make something of their lives. Used to go in at 6 o'clock in the morning. We used to sit there till 6 o'clock in the night. They used to walk me home so nothing would happen to me. And they passed. And this boy came here to the US, and he came on his scholarship, and it meant the world to me. I'd never contributed to other people's lives in that way before, and it changed me as a person, because I went from being somebody that was focused on myself just because I was a young person. I was 19 years old at the time, 20 years old at the time or something. So I'd always been focused on myself to focusing on how can I leverage my own skills to help other people. And there's no better feeling in the whole world than kind of helping other people reach their goals, because they make you a better version of yourself. And that started my journey. And that's when I started saying, okay, how can I contribute? How can I do better? How can I make things better? And entrepreneurship, like, people don't often appreciate the privilege it is to be an entrepreneur. Like often they're very capitalistic in nature, and I know that's great, that's great. But for me, I believe in this ecosystem very, very strongly, that if the ecosystem supports you as an entrepreneur, as much as you are taking from that ecosystem, you have a responsibility to give back to that ecosystem, because that's ultimately what feeds the ecosystem. And as I say, like, my best experience have been incredible young women, grown-up women. Like there's some incredible women that I've been privileged enough to learn from, incredible men I've been privileged enough to learn from. One of my mentors is a former congressman. He's a partner in a very big law firm. He's a very, very successful man, and I often wonder, like, I've said it to him so many times, like, why are you my mentor? Like you're up there, I'm down here. Why? Like, you can mentor anybody. And I think it's because he sees that it's not just about me. Like, I know, like, I have a journey to travel, but he sees that if he can help me grow, I can help other people grow. And he's passionate about startups. He's passionate about global ecosystems. And he knows that I see myself more as a catalyst rather than a person who, oh, this is great, this is all for me. Like, oh, I love this. I believe in building very strong bonds, because if I help you succeed, I help another entrepreneur succeed, I help another entrepreneur succeed, eventually we all succeed. And I think it's an abundance mentality rather than a scarcity mentality. Oh, one more thing. You asked me who a role model is. There's a lady in the UK. Her name is Dame Stephanie Shirley. And I think you should all watch her TED Talk, because she was one of the first women coders in the UK. And she has this incredible story, absolutely incredible, how she employed all these brilliant women who couldn't get jobs in the 60s and 70s to become coders. And it's just the most inspiring TED Talk. I want you all to watch it, because anything is possible if you just believe in yourself. It's interesting, yesterday Darren wrote something about me, and it honored me, because it talked about the fact that I'm not exceptional at anything. It's a very, very easy thing to admit. Like, I struggle a lot. Like, I know I've never been the smartest person in the room, and like often I have to kind of work really, really, really hard. And I think that's why I'm very empathetic to other people's difficulties in it, because being an entrepreneur is hard. Being a woman is hard. Being a woman who wants to make something of herself is very hard. And the number of spectacular women who have engaged with me and said the same thing, that often they want other women to just say, you can do it, but they don't say it. And often it comes from their mothers. Like, mothers come from a different generation to many of us, in the sense that their perspectives are very different in terms of the role of a woman in society. And so over the years there have been many, many challenges, and I think I don't realize how tough I actually am. I know that's a weird thing to say, but each of us doesn't realize it. Like, when you believe in something, you got to be resilient. You got to fight for it. You got to keep going. And often I think people say to me, you can't do it. And I think the first thing I go into my head is, I'm doing this. You can't tell me I can't do it, because I want to do this. And it takes a lot of toughness. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of determination. But I believe that each of us faces a lot of difficulties. But the beauty is that you've got to just keep overcoming them and surrounding yourself with exceptional people. For me, that's critical, because like, I met you both and I was like, wow. Like, wow. Like, I walked away and I thought, if they represent the future, oh my word, it's a very exciting future, because they don't apologize for the fact that they want to make great changes in the world. They don't say, sorry, I'm a girl, or any of these things. They just go out there and they do it. And it is so inspiring, because I think we, as the previous generation, we still get caught up in that, can I do it, can't I do it? But you guys represent the future, and it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. It has its good days, it has its bad days, but I'm very, very fortunate. Like, the many areas that I'm fortunate, we complement each other very well, so we have very different skills. So there are times where I'm I really need his assistance, and he just comes in and he just does his thing. Like, for example, the webinar series, technically he's exceptional. I'm good at statistics, I'm good at maths, but I struggle. I'm the first to admit it. That's why I'm in awe of you both being so smart. But by the same token, it's got a great deal of advantages because you kind of understand one another. Like the other day, there was a person on the webinar series with us, and she said, "You're communicating in silence. How do you do that?" And I think you get to a point where you can operate from a point of view of strength, and that's fantastic. And I think for entrepreneurs, it's often good to have people you can trust, you can surround yourself with, people who know you very, very well. Because going back to what you said, there are so many struggles as an entrepreneur, and building a venture of any sort, social or for profit, it's hard, it's very, very challenging. And if you know you have people you can rely on, you can depend on, you can trust, they have your back. I've always said, and I believe this with every fiber of my being, that the US's greatest export is entrepreneurship, because there are so many opportunities here. Like, I'd never experienced what an amazing feeling could be being an entrepreneur until I came to the US. Like, I read a lot of stuff, and the more I read, the more I wanted to come here. It was like this country is so amazing when it comes to entrepreneurs. Like, it is just so amazing. There's so many incredible people, like co-working spaces, mentors, funding, opportunities. Everything you need is at your disposal, and all you have to do is say, "I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm going to go for it." I think that's the hardest part, is having the courage to put yourself out there and say, "Okay, I'm going to pitch, even if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to pitch, I'm going to ask for help, I'm going to grow, learn, do whatever I need to do to succeed." And I think that's been absolutely eye-opening. Like in South Africa, I know you've spoken about Greece. It's very hard for entrepreneurs. It's very, very hard. You can't get bank funding. Very difficult for investor funding. It's just a challenging environment, and as a result, it doesn't foster growth for entrepreneurs. And then you feel like you're very isolated, so you kind of you keep to yourself and you don't go outwards. But here you go outwards, you're connecting the whole time, you're busy from morning until night. Like here, as I say, you can be working at 1 a.m. in the morning and all the entrepreneurs are still at work, so it's very inspiring. Interesting question. On this journey I've been on, it's been very, very interesting. Like, there have been people who have reached out to me who absolutely love the concept of taking a risk and becoming an entrepreneur in the US, and they want to do it, and they love the fact that people such as ourselves are doing it. And then there are people that fear the unknown, I think, just because it's a sense of discomfort, and they worry, like you're a disruptor. And I love being called a disruptor, but I think they don't see it in a good way. I used to take it very, very personally. I'm a very sensitive person. So I used to be like, why don't they like me? Why don't they approve of me? What do they have against me? I'm trying my best. I'm doing good stuff. Why do they knock it down? Why do they say bad stuff about women's empowerment? Like, can't they see this is good stuff? And often when it comes to women's empowerment, there are a lot of people who have a journey to travel. And as I say, this for me has been a growth process. But in the process, I've realized that you don't take that stuff on. Don't, because you change as a person. There's a quote that talks about holding a piece of coal, and the person who holds the piece of coal because they want to throw it at somebody else is actually the person that gets burnt. And I've realized that if you are true to yourself and you feel really, really proud of what you're doing and you feel honored by what you're doing, you bring people into your life that are the same as you. And there's nothing more inspiring than being surrounded by people that are just the same as you. And the funny thing is, in the process, and I know you both experienced this, all those mean things that get said, they kind of just start falling away, and you kind of start seeing those people for who they are. And I recently had an experience where there was somebody I know who was very, very against women's empowerment. He has a certain perception of it. And I used to get so frustrated. Like, I used to be like, he's putting me down. I'm so sick of him putting me down. And then I took a step back and I was like, my approach is not working. So let me try something new. And then I thought, you know what? I've got this UN role. let me bring him closer. Let him come into our community. And let's gradually start showing him about women's empowerment. And let's, without him acknowledging that there's value to women's empowerment, let him start seeing how much he can contribute as an individual to our community. And lo and behold, he's starting to see the light. And for me, that was such a privilege, because he has children, he has a daughter, and that little girl's life is going to be better, because I thought, you know what, instead of fighting with somebody, go the opposite route. Encourage them, motivate them, inspire them to see these incredible women and all these incredible things these incredible women are doing. And I learned so much from it. So it's been just ignore them and just be true to yourself as you are, and you'll inspire amazing things. Very good question. There are some incredible things happening in terms of mentoring programs. Like, for example, Every Woman has the Modern Muse program, which is exceptional in terms of bringing young women into technology. Like, I met some absolutely spectacular young ladies. One of them was 11 years old, another one was 13 years old, and they're game changers. There's no way to describe them in any other way other than to say they're game changers, like you. And I was like, wow, I haven't accomplished anything with my life. Look what they're doing. So I think there are some brilliant things happening in terms of bringing women into technology, but we have a long way to go. And I think whilst, as I say, that all these programs, you guys are doing incredible stuff. There's Women in Code, there's Women in Tech. There's a lot of things happening globally. But I think it begins with each one of us. We each have to take a responsibility on ourselves and to say, I'm a woman in tech. I'm not some isolated individual. There's a young woman out there. I need to mentor her. I need to make her feel like she can be on this journey. Like, one of our upcoming panelists is a young woman. She's 21 years old. And she's, again, a game changer. She's doing incredible stuff. She's involved with NASA, being mentored by female astronauts. But again, even though she's young, she's mentoring other young women, because she knows that if she wants the changes she wants to see, ultimately it begins with each one of us. And as I say, like, we have a journey to travel. I know you often hear a lot of people complaining that there's not enough change in STEM. It's not happening fast enough. But where you think about where it was and where it is today, it's going a long way. And I think we just need to keep encouraging young women such as yourselves to take risks. I think that's the issue. We need to say to young women, go out there, don't take the safe path. You know what? You could always go and get a job. It's easy to, if you're well educated, if you're smart, you're ambitious, you're driven, whatever it is, you can go and get a job. But try it. Just go out there. Believe in something and make it happen. And well, New Testament to what can happen if you believe in your dreams. South Africa taught me that it's okay to fight for what you believe in. Like, even often, like, when people say no or people don't believe in you, whatever it is, if you fight for what you believe in enough, you can get it. It also taught me that even though we're at the bottom of Africa and there's this big world out there, you can go for your dreams. Like, people, we feel insecure as South Africans. We feel like we're not smart enough, we're not well educated enough, we're not successful enough. Whatever, we all as South Africans kind of feel a bit insecure about our place in the world. And what South Africa taught me is, if you believe in what you're doing enough, the world will be happy to engage with you, mentor you, grow you. The world will give you opportunities. Canada was the first time that I saw anything is possible. Like, I never knew what it felt like to have, you can see my eyes even sparkling, like, when I think about Canada, because I went as like a kid for all intents and purposes, and it opened my eyes. Like, I was like, oh, this is the most amazing country on earth, because there were so many opportunities. Like, I used to keep myself busy from morning until night, and I used to, something funny, like, there was something at the university, and they used to talk about, like, who's doing what, and it was like, I used to read about it and think, oh, they're so incredible, I want to meet them, oh, they're doing such incredible stuff, I have to meet them, I have to get involved, and people must have thought like I was running around like a crazy person, but I was so excited to have all these experiences and all these things opening my mind. And computers in South Africa were not like they were in Canada. Canada had already traveled a long journey in terms of computers, and it was like this immersion and all these incredible things and all these amazing things. And I think that was the beginning of my journey to choose to live my life at another level, because I think I'd grown up with, okay, this is what's possible. This is what I can do. And then after Canada, I was like, oh my world, there's this amazing world out there. I got to go out there, I got to do it. And I feel unstoppable. And I think the UK as well, like the UK has got incredible opportunities, especially for women's empowerment. Like the UK is doing incredible stuff with women's empowerment. And as I say, I'm very privileged that I've been given so many opportunities in the UK. The US as well, like I love the fact that in the US people don't apologize for their ambition. That is the best thing about this country. If you want to go out there and you want to be a billionaire, or you want to be Lady Gaga, or whatever it is you want to be, there will be people saying to you, go for it. Be unstoppable, and you'll find this tribe of people that will be like, let's do this thing. And I love it. I absolutely love how people just go for things. Like Donald Trump becoming president, it's like, that's America for you. Interesting question. So last year, I took it upon myself. So I came to the US, and I was doing really well in South Africa, like materially and that. And I just, if you saw the TED Talk, I felt the sense of like, I'm missing something. And I came to the US, and I felt really stupid, like really stupid. Like from day one, I was like, am I the stupidest person around? Like people used to ask me questions, I'd be like, and like the whole time I never knew how to answer them, and it just felt so dumb. So I'd always read a lot. And then I took it upon myself that I would just start reading like crazy. And I listened to Audible books. And I was like, okay, let me go up to 2 speed on Audible. Let me go up to 3 speed on Audible, because I need to immerse myself with more knowledge. And I was starting to read more and more books, always around like entrepreneurship, technology, growing, learning, and that. And then whenever I saw an area of weakness, I'd go and buy a pile of books. I buy a lot of books. And then last year I decided, this sounds mad, but I decided I was going to, no one knew, because I thought everyone would think I'm completely insane, but talk about America for you, I went for it. I'd read 500 books in 1 year, okay? And as I say, I never told anyone, but I did it. I finished in March this year. So I read 500 Audible books in 1 year, and I never read any novels. I read what I would perceive as serious stuff. And what I learned was that when you start a journey and what you think you're going to get out of it versus when you get to your goal, you realize all the things that came that were so much better than what you actually intended. And tips, I would say, immerse yourself in learning. Open your mind and just free yourself. Just absorb everything you possibly can around you. Because with a growth mindset, thank you, Carol Dweck, another one of the books I read, you literally, you become somebody that goes on a journey that if you were inflexible, you wouldn't have been able to go on that journey. And often you'll feel like a little tiny boat in the ocean that's getting bumped around. You don't know where you're going to land up. You're literally out there in the ocean. But having an open mind, learning from every opportunity, reading, watching TED Talks, whatever it is that can open your mind and further your knowledge, will make you better for it, and apply for everything. Like I know a lot of people would disagree with me because they're like, no, you need to be very focused. I know another US lesson, but in the process of applying for every opportunity that you possibly can, you learn to put yourself out there, and when the right opportunities come your way, they will be the right opportunities, and magically things will come together for you and you'll find your path. Okay, this is a hard one. The first book that I read that changed my life forever was Will Durant's The Greatest Minds and Ideas of All Time. I don't want to get the name wrong. Greatest Mind. I'll give you the proper name. Like this book is next to my bed. I'm tired. It was absolutely unbelievable. It changed my life forever. And then Nassim Nicholas Taleb, The Black Swan, was an incredible book for me. And as I say, like, I can tell you so many books that a year ago I would have said to you, these are my top 5 favorite books. But I wouldn't be fair, because as I'm going on this journey, I'm changing the whole time. So right now, the books that really speak to me, that I was like, wow, I needed that book right now. But a year ago, those books already had no effect on me because I wasn't ready to truly appreciate those books. And one of the things I'm really lucky about, this is really, really lucky, is that through the webinar series, I get to reach out to the authors that have written books that I really, really, really love. And there's nothing better than that, because you get to interact with this person that's written this book, and I feel so privileged. And then I share it with the community. So if the community really enjoys the book, or they really want to engage with an author, then we get to learn even more closely from that author. So I hope it's not fair to not tell you exactly 5. So I have to admit, I have a weakness for Singularity University. Like, I don't know how much you know about it, but I'm so inspired by everything they're doing. And as I say, like, they do incredible stuff in multiple spaces. Elon Musk, incredible people, Peter Diamandis, all involved. And it's a vast range of industries. And so, but they're doing groundbreaking stuff. And as I say, you have to check out Singularity University, because for me, that represents the future, not only of technology, but of the world. Like, literally unbelievable stuff. Sign up for the newsletter, you won't regret it. All different types of stuff. So cancer drugs, for example, the latest in terms of cancer research, in terms of using technology to further solving medical problems, that would be an area. Wearable technologies, so the latest wearable technologies, big thing. As I say, a cross-section, space exploration. So what I love so much about it is that it's disrupting so many different industries, so many different sectors, but making them better. So the fact that all this positive change can come out of one community, one ecosystem, inspires me so much. And as I say, like, I look forward to the newsletters, because it challenges your mind the same way TED challenges your mind. That it's like, wow, like, I'm not doing enough. Exponential change is upon us in so many different areas. And as I say, I don't want to spoil it for you, because there's so much cool stuff going on. Like, one of the emails I got was how basically they are creating diamonds in a way that it's never been done before in a lab. And it was like, wow, that is unbelievable. And what are the effects of creating diamonds in a lab rather than getting them from the earth? And so for me, that excites me to no end. It excites me and motivates me so much. So you got me in a very, very, very cool topic. So I'm in the process of, together with a group of exceptional mentors, investors, leaders, we're putting together a fund for women-run enterprises. And I think the reason we are all so passionate about it is because it is more challenging for women to get funding. It's a reality, but it's the way it is, so we got to kind of get on with it. And as I say, one of my mentors is an expert in crowdfunding, and she said for a lot of women entrepreneurs, the best route to go is crowdfunding, because it's more challenging with banks, it's more challenging with VCs. What I'm trying to do with the webinar series is I'm also trying to make sure that within our community, women entrepreneurs who need funding know that there are safe places to go to, in the sense that there are investors as part of our community that will do right by them. And I'm constantly updating resources, constantly connecting. I'm involved in the Kaufman Fellows Academy, constantly recruiting investors, entrepreneurs, a cross-section of organizations who can ultimately help our community of women entrepreneurs get funding. But I believe that we have a long way to go in terms of evening the playing field, but hopefully, again, we all making our contributions. So hopefully our startup fund is going to do great things, and I'm very, very, very excited. I'm launching it this week in Kenya, which makes me very, very excited. And as I say, if you know any exceptional young woman looking for funding, looking to take their ventures to the next level, please tell them to reach out, because again, our community is only as strong as we make it. So my relationship with failure has changed over the years. I used to take things very, very personally. Like, we had a property investment portfolio, and every time like a deal would fall through, I'd be like devastated. I'd be like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Because, you know, like, it takes so long to get to a point that you close a deal. And then I got to a point where I realized, you know what? I need to learn to deal with this better. I need to kind of prepare myself for the fact that the likelihood is it won't work out necessarily, but if it doesn't work out, it'll be okay. And as a result, I think the more opportunities you actually go for, the easier it is to actually deal with failure, because rejection becomes part of your life. I'm sure you guys have experienced that too, where you get so used to it that it's like when stuff works out, it's like awesome, and that gives you the courage and strength to keep going. So for me, as I say, it's all been a journey of self-discovery that I keep knocking my head, but I do it with a smile on my face now. And as a result, miraculously, things start working out a lot easier. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't put yourself down. Don't blame yourself. I often think that's the difference between men and women, is that the men don't blame themselves, they blame the circumstances, and the women are like, it's me. It's not you. It's not you. You mustn't take it personally. Don't own that failure. Just say, you know what, let this give me strength to keep going. And I watched the most incredible TED Talk by Barbara Corcoran, one of the sharks on Shark Tank, and I think all women should watch it. How she said her opportunities, all the greatest opportunities came from the moments of failure, because she could have quit those times where it was like, oh, I failed, oh, it's gone wrong, oh, they rejected me, and she was like, turn it on its head. Turn that failure into an opportunity, and miraculous things will happen. She said her greatest achievements in life have come from flipping failure into opportunity. I think it's a message for every woman. 100%. I had a public failure recently and I was devastated, and it was only because of our community that I kept going. So we had a webinar episode, and one of our panelists, something went wrong with their technology, and because they were in the developing world, the platform that was hosting the technology hadn't taken their issues into consideration. Somehow it was too far out of their frame of reference, and it crashed the webinar. And I was absolutely devastated because I put a ton of work in it. You've got panelists across multiple time zones, you've got participants, everybody's taking time out of their schedules to join in, and everybody wants it to succeed, and I felt like I'd let down our community, and I was absolutely devastated. It was only a few weeks back, and I was like, I'm quitting, like I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm not an expert at this, I don't know how to deal with this, what must I do? The webinar crashed, and I was absolutely beside myself. And the power of our community was that people were like not laughing at me. People were not angry at me. People were not shaming me. And I felt this big, and people were reaching out. And you guys actually saw me that day. And I was like, wow, like people still care about me. People are not rejecting me. People don't see me as a failure. And they believe in what we're doing, and they forgive me. And they just, let's keep going. And that really inspired me, because if it wasn't for the community, I would have been like, no way, this is just so out of my frame of reference. I'm just not good enough to be doing this. I need to kind of do something a little bit more in my comfort zone, because I feel vulnerable when I do these sessions. And the power of the community kept me going, and I'm better for it. I'm privileged to be surrounded by such exceptional people. And that's another thing. Just because people are not physically in your surroundings doesn't mean they can't inspire you. Doesn't mean you can't just jump on a Skype call and say, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? This is what I'm trying to accomplish. Can you help me? Reach out to people, because incredible, spectacular things come from having the courage to reach out. Like, it goes both ways. I reach out to phenomenal people, and other people reach out to me, and it's just so inspiring, connecting around the world with spectacular people. I used to have a lot of regrets, and I think it comes back to being a female entrepreneur, where you're hard on yourself. You say, I could have done this better, I could have been better, I could have done more, but not anymore. I think I'm at a place where I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm making an impact. So I don't only have a business, but I also have a purpose, and I think that's critical, because my identity is in that purpose. I'm creating positive change. So like Richard Branson said, like, you just don't have the regrets. Don't let them go, because you free yourself. Don't carry that burden. It's not worth it, because you feel light, and you feel happy, and you feel you can accomplish anything, and you can keep bouncing from thing to thing, and you grow in the process. Let go of the regrets. Not worth it. It's a difficult question.
Apart from coughing.
I think passion helps. I really think passion helps, because there are days where I'm like, I can't actually do this. I feel like I'm doing multiple jobs here. But I believe, looking back on parts of my life where I was working just as hard, but I didn't believe in it, that the difference is that it's internal motivation, that when you truly believe in something, no matter how many hours it takes out of your day, you have this thing inside of you saying, this is awesome, I've got to keep going, and that motivates you, and that gives you the energy. I go to gym every day, which also helps, even if it's not to train like a professional athlete, just to kind of have a break and do fun stuff. Spend time with your friends, just do stuff that inspires you. If it's about going to museums, just indulge yourself. Like, once upon a time, something that really, really changed my life, going back to what you were saying, is there was this program called Millionaire MBA. I'm talking about 8-9 years ago, by a guy by the name of Richard Parks Cordock. And it was different episodes, and that began my Audible journey. Like, we never even knew how to get these episodes. It was so long ago. And I was like, I asked Darren, please, I have to do this. They're the top entrepreneurs in the UK. And that was before our UK journey started. I was like, please, you have to help me. And he was tracking down the episodes one by one. And I listened to these stories, and it was the weirdest sensation, because we started going to the UK, and you'd see these people who would have like Pizza Express, and you'd hear their story, and it was very, very personal when they talk about like how they did it. And one of the stories that really impacted me was Simon Woodruff, the owner of Yo Sushi, and he talked about building Yo Sushi, and it really, 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 it touched me how he talked about, you go to the edge, like as an entrepreneur, you take yourself to the breaking point where there's so much change and so much uncertainty that you actually just give into it, because otherwise you won't survive. And he said there are days where you just got to walk out the office, literally, because there's just so much that you can't deal with, and go to a museum for an hour, walk down the street, look in the windows of the shops, just be with life, just experience life, interact with people, just watch people, sit on a park bench. And for me, that was like, wow. Like, and ever since then, for me, if I just feel like, wow, I've got too much on my plate, just do something indulgent. I know it feels wrong. Like, you feel so bad, and you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. But in the same time, it makes you feel like it's okay. It feels really, really good. I'm very, very excited about the webinar series. I think it's got a huge potential, because I would like it to turn into something global, where we have young women from around the world collaborating with one another. I believe that's the next stage, where we actually start these collaborative relationships and building this ecosystem. The Startup Fund is something that I'm deeply, deeply passionate about, because I believe that there are so many truly exceptional women out there that are just doing incredible stuff, that deserve that next level of help and that next level of funding to take their businesses to the next level. And I think that's keeping me very busy. My work with the UN deeply inspires me. Like, we have a team of champions around the world that are just doing incredible work that need to be showcased. Often people do stuff within their communities, and they work incredibly hard, and people don't know about it. And through the webinar series, we have the opportunity to showcase incredible women doing incredible stuff, incredible men too, of course, doing incredible stuff around the world. So I think that's keeping me pretty busy right now. And as I say, I absolutely love it. And I actually want to nominate you guys to be UN champions, because I think it's so important. You're such important role models, and I want more people to learn from you, and more young women to say, you know what, they did it, so can I. Like, let me just go out there and do it. So it's a very exciting journey to be on, and I don't want to look too far ahead, because I'm just enjoying it right now. Thank you to all of you. I hope this is helpful. Thank you to the two of you. You're absolutely amazing young women. And as I say, join our community, join our conversations. In any way, if I can help, please feel free to reach out to me. It's a privilege when you do reach out to me. And I'm definitely coming to Greece on holiday, because it's absolutely beautiful. So hopefully we'll get to meet in person.